Have you ever wanted to play Void Sphere as main spell? We have a black hole in the game after all. This is the Neil deGrasse Tyson grade of awesomeness. And then you check the stats and the reality kicks in. Void Sphere has 10 seconds cooldown, Void Sphere has ammo mechanic and deals something like 0 DPS. Grinding gear games definitely do not like astrophysics and they think that this skill needs to be some kind of support and crowd control? What? But does it? Can we restore the real glory of all-consuming black hole? Previously I explored the viable main skill Void Sphere solution with the Archmage support that can do something around like 1 million serious DPS. Today I would take the Void Sphere on spin with Poison build on Assasin Ascendancy, and the big question is, would the Poison build be better at single target damage and clear than the Archmage version? This build is able to hit level 34 Void Sphere without any convoluted crafting or expensive gear, and all those levels definitely makes a big difference. To have a foundation, let's establish the basics. Since we are looking for poison damage, we will go straight for Assassin Ascendancy. Here we get the Toxic Delivery branch, then the Opportunistic node to have better single target, and of course Mistwalker to have better tank from elusive buff. Next step is to address the passive tree. At first I really wanted to go north for critical strike and poison nodes, but after realizing that build would be rather low at HP in that part of the tree, I scrapped everything and opted for two things. First, build would be evasion and dodge based with face acrobatic keystone, benefiting from our elusive buff and extra dodge from Adziri step unique boots. Second, we will rely on the full stack of cluster jewels to attain that extra bunch of HP from 2 cluster jewel notables of Fatal, and to gain better DPS with Grim or notable from a large cluster jewel, and of course Circin Oblivion notable from 2 medium cluster jewels. So then we will scale the physical and chaos damage, poison duration and critical strike multipliers. Then boost poison DPS with damage over time with perfect agony keystone. Next get an extra skill effect duration with exceptional performance for your Void Sphere, Immortal Call and poison duration. For your extra defense layer we will get Profane Chemistry and Herbalism notables paired with the Soul of Ruslata Pantheon to have huge life recovery from your life flask. And then to boost your damage we'll also get free jewel sockets with triple Grand Spectrum unique jewels with total of 225 increased critical strike chance. And speaking of chances, there is a big chance that you are not subscribed to this channel. I'm doing Path of Exile non-meta builds on regular basis and currently having a blast doing exactly that. Hit like and smash subscribe as hard as you pressed main damage skill during last phase of Awakener 8. Everybody sub to this channel, guys and girls, you are awesome. Thank you for that support. Engaging with my videos on my channel definitely helps with YouTube, and now even more people can find and enjoy fun non-meta builds. Alright, back to the build. The skill gems. Anomalous version of Void Sphere is our starting point. Anomalous version have better cooldown / duration ratio, and we already fix our Void Ball duration with exceptional performance notable, and now we will fix skill cooldown with the second wind support. But how can you get to level 34 Void Sphere? How you gain that extra 13 levels over base level 21? We will get +6 from the dual wield of Cold Iron Point unique daggers. Void Sphere is a physical spell, so we will get in +3 from each of the daggers. Then we will get +2 from the skin of the Loyal Corrupted version with extra +1 level of socketed gems, and of course we will slot our Empower support level 4 to get total of level 6 Empower support from our skin of the Loyal, and that translates in extra 5 levels to boost our Void Sphere to the level 34. And of course the supports for our damage scaling would be Poison support to get poison chance to 100% without even any active flasks, and the last two would be the Deadly Elements and Unbound Elements. And rather important note for the clear speed. Yes, we have the single target, but it is overkill damage for clear. And we can simply speed up things by simply opting for the Bina's Kitchen Knife instead one of the daggers and run increased area of effect or our Unbound Elements support for better clear speed. To ramp up damage we will rely on a bit of aura stacking from Divine and Item unique helmet. For better DPS we will get the version with increased duration of elements you inflict while focused. And to reduce the focus skill cooldown from 12 seconds to 8, we will rely on Hyperbearer's unique belt. And since we have Eldritch Battery Keystone from Divine Item and rely on Energy Shield regeneration as mana management, we can get the version of Hyperbearers with regenerate 120 energy shield per second while a rare or unique enemy is nearby. So the combination of these two unique items will make up for 100% of mana management and will give us a lot of extra damage from poison while focused and against shield enemies. With our auras, we will get that shock and chill effect from Summon Skitterbots to synergize with Hyperbearer's unique belt, Anomalous Herald of Agony to get extra poison damage and Wither stacks, Malevolence to scale our poison damage and skill effect duration of Void Sphere, and finally Flesh and Stone Aura to gain extra bit of tank from reduced damage and blind effect from stand stance. To achieve our mana reservation budget, we slot all these 4 auras into the Divine Item and get Charisma Anoint with 8% reduced mana reservation. Amulet of our choice would be of course in Presence with 100% Despair reduced mana reservation, and with that amulet we will run Blasphemy and Despair combo as aura, and since we do not care about mana reservation anymore, we will use the third link as increased area of effect support, and then we will synergize with Plague Barrier on our 4th link. Plague Barrier is essential for this build as cosplaying Macedonian in 2020. Yeah. But bad jokes aside, you would rely on this skill for one single purpose. Yes, it functions as extra DPS boost on single target, but it has some other use. Void Sphere in Anomalous version still have almost 6-second cooldown, and while totally reasonable for big packs, you would still want to have some kind of damage to kill off stragglers, increasing your overall clear speed. So the Plague Bearer is an exact complement tool for your Void Sphere. Next step in your single target DPS would be ability to gain Wither stacks. And getting Wither stacks from self-cast is rather lame, so let's go for the spell totem with multiple totems and Wither that makes the job nice and easy, while you can focus on your boss mechanics. And to round off our defense layer, we will also exploit all increased durations taken from our passive tree and Malevolence aura with cast when damage taken and Immortal Call setup. And to gain maximum effect, we will of course put the increased duration support and Frost Wall spell. The Frost Wall spell, of course, our projectile hate with something to do for the cast when damage taken when our Immortal Call is busy and unavailable. And last bit of the build would be movement, flasks and extra damage mitigation. Corralitio's signature is great for any poison related build, and since we have Gaping Hole in physical damage mitigation, I highly recommend to run both Granite and Basalt flasks. To have an extra damage mitigation, I also recommend to use Virulent Base, faster attacks and Fortify combo with Quartz Flask to boost your dodge effects. And here we are at the end of our build explanation. But what about the actual gameplay viability? I rather comfortably got through all 4 Conquerors dying only to Baron auto attack. Yeah, lame. Yes, kill time is something like between 1.5 to 2 minutes for the Conquerors. It is reasonable, not really fast. But the ugly things actually started with serious fight. Unfortunately, this fight is pure garbage. Yeah, I have unpopular opinion. And of course, if you have any ramp up skill and skill that require any wind up setup, you just simply could not do that. I simply just gave up at like 50% and just went and swapped to the Blade Vortex. And by the way, big note, this build is fully viable if you swap your Void Sphere for the Unleashed support and your second Wind for the Blade Vortex. It becoming a really high DPS Blade Vortex build. You even can shave off some DPS and get some extra tank and survivability. So something among these lines. Do I actually prefer it over my Archmage build? I think, yes, it's more DPS, especially on the paper. It can do almost like 2.5 million series DPS, but I do not really feel like it's more DPS. I think the Archmage support is a bit snappier, it have lower cooldown, so it feels a bit more active, so I prefer the Archmage version. Alright, so thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I am really impressed how straightforward this build came out. Serious failure was rather expected, and I now appreciate auto pull from Chain Hook even more. Do you think that doing only Conquerors make this build actually viable, and do you want to play Void Sphere as poison build, or maybe you want to try the Archmage build with the Shock Nova as secondary single target spell and Void Sphere of course as your clear spell? Leave your comments, thoughts down below, and I invite you to check out other non-meta builds on my channel. And to round off our defense layer, we will also exploit all our increased durations taken from Malevolence and Passive Tree with cast when damage taken and Mortal Call setup. Oh Jesus.
Good find, Exile. More, Exile. Go find more.